early morning hours of 17th of January 1991, coalition air forces unleashed a massive air assault on Iraqi forces in both Iraq and Kuwait. The magnitude of the coalition air offensive dealt a crushing blow to Iraq's air defense network, and soon Allied aircraft roamed at will in the skies over the conflict zone. On the 24th of February 1991, coalition forces launched a massive ground assault against Iraqi army units occupying Kuwait. In less than 100 hours, a substantial portion of the fourth largest army in the world was destroyed, and Kuwait liberated. Waged for the most part in trackless desert, the Gulf War was dominated by high-tech weapons in the hands of a well-trained military. This program examines the weapons used during the campaign and the objectives of the war which determined how these weapons were used. It also chronicles the final battles that brought Desert Storm to its victorious conclusion. The stunning victory of coalition forces in the Gulf War was made possible by effective strategy and weapons technology. The objective of the war was not to take over Iraq, but to liberate Kuwait and weaken Saddam Hussein's military power. Desert Victory examines the weapons and strategy of Operation Desert Storm and their implications for future warfare.
Mobility is essential in modern warfare. In earlier times, the horse was sufficient, but has now been replaced with a variety of war machines designed for rapid delivery of combat forces and an unparalleled amount of firepower. This episode of Arsenal provides an up-close look at today's fast-moving and lethal winged cavalry. In this high-tech age of precision-guided missiles, modern tanks appear to be relics of a dinosaur age of land warfare. But the thick armor of today's tanks conceals their very own space-age ballistic computers, laser rangefinders, and sophisticated electronics. This episode of Arsenal examines the main battle tanks of 4 of the world's most prominent tank developers: Britain, France, the United States, and Germany, tracing their designs from the earliest roots to the latest in heavy metal. The combat capability of the modern army depends on a careful balance of many types of advanced weapons, all of them fast-moving, all of them deadly. This episode of Arsenal will show you a battle-tested example of how today's armies are organized to most effectively use their rolling power. On this desert sand in the Middle East, modern weapons clash in a fierce and fiery contest. But this isn't a conventional battle. It's a duel between weapons developers for the region's lucrative arms market. In the Cold War era of weapons proliferation, battle lines between NATO and the Warsaw Pact were clearly drawn. But as this duel recedes into history, defense industries on both sides are faced with new dilemmas. To what degree should they fund new weapons technologies? Will today's relative tranquility last? Will there be a need to maintain robust defenses? The United States and most European nations continue to develop new weapons as insurance against an uncertain future. But as domestic markets shrink, many nations hope to sustain their defense industries by selling technologies abroad. Countries of the Middle East present such an opportunity to foreign weapons developers. With very few local arms manufacturers, imported technologies are called upon to outfit well-financed armies of the region. And in an area where tensions continue to run high, there is a heavy demand for military modernization. In this episode of Arsenal, we will review the technologies that compete for the Middle Eastern dollar and see them in action as they compete in the duel in the desert.
With the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait, a great confrontation began as a host of forces from around the world were deployed against the Iraqi army. This video ordnance program looks at the weapons of Operation Desert Shield. Precision airstrikes have become the big stick of international relations. When diplomacy fails and military action is chosen, the missile-armed strike aircraft is at the center of combat. Many nations deploy advanced jet aircraft and high-tech missiles, but only one has the broad range of technologies and forces to deploy such weapons on a global scale: the United States. The ability to launch a global strike at targets around the world depends not only on the aircraft and precision-guided weapons, but on a sophisticated network of space-based electronic sensors, advanced digital communication networks, and mobile logistics. This program examines the essential high-tech ingredients of a global strike.